more than a decade after it was supposed to have been banned, the ivory trade is still flourishing.
This is elephant ivory, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's ivory.
Yeah.
And in the USA, they found buyers who knew how to flaunt the law banning the sale of ivory.
Right now, when we find a post-ban tusk, we end up buying them. And we say, look, we didn't buy that. We bought that pencil in your pocket, and you donated the tusk to us.
But it's Africa's elephants and those who try to protect them who bear the real cost.
Blood is still there after all this time. Like it's permanently stained.
Rick Swain, Vice President for Investigations, travelled to Kenya, where the Kenya Wildlife Service took him to the site of a recent poaching incident.
That's part of the killing.
A family of 11 elephant had been killed by a poaching gang looking for ivory.
The meat wasn't used or anything, just the ivory.
No, they're interested only in the ivory. You see, they're armed poachers. These are the cartridges, these for AK-47.
Yeah.
This is part of what they use to kill. While our men are still trucking their trucks. They are here already.
They're here killing.
They're doing the killing, yeah. You will imagine what if this was your family, your mother, your sister, and all of them.
And this would be all that's left.
Yeah, this is all that's left now.
Entrance, exit. Yeah. Yeah, entrance. Yeah, entrance and exit.
The Kenya Wildlife Service keep the bones of the poached elephants they find. Rick was taken to a warehouse where they store them.
Are most of these elephant?
Yeah, most of them are elephants.
How many do you think are here?
There are about 3,000 of them.
About 3,000.
Yeah, species.
And most of them from poaching.
Most of them from poaching.
And this is only a small portion.
This is just a sample.
So many animals. People just don't understand when they look at that piece of ivory in the shop. They don't understand what had to happen for them to hold that piece of ivory.
HSUS investigators tracked the ivory trail across Asia. In Bali, we found workshops where the owner was happy to admit they carved elephant ivory.
Do you still carve an elephant here? Do you still carve an elephant here?
Yeah, still.
In Hong Kong, we discovered shop after shop selling ivory, and it seems that stocks are not in short supply.
You're able to order your tusks within a few days. You're able to get
on the stock.
Yes, they have stock. How many sources did you say you have? 5 or 6?
It's illegal to bring ivory into the US, but for the Hong Kong dealers our investigators spoke to, that didn't seem to be a problem.
When you sell your elephant, who do you sell it to?
Some tourists, they have interest. They like buy the only small item, just put into the pocket or just put in the luggage.
And it's not just in Asia that dealers are willing to turn a blind eye to ivory exports. eBay, which sells itself as the world's biggest internet auction house, has plenty of buyers and sellers in the West. A Dutch jewellers even advertised that they were willing to ship ivory to the US without the legal permits. Our investigators went to see if the shop owners would make the same offers in person.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Rick, how are you?
Hello. Hello. Things like this, if you say something like this,
Yeah.
and we put some nice paper on it, and you put it in your pocket, nobody's going to ask you what it is, because if you come to customs and you say it's plastic, they don't even know it.
They wouldn't know.
I had, I think, maybe 1,000 of these. And we send them all to the States, approximately all, and everything came off. Not one piece was missing, not one piece was taken out by customs.
I always see those all over custom jewelry. They always buy it.
Oh, really? And have you ever had anything stopped by doing it that?
Never.
Okay.
And they can even advise you on how to get ivory past customs at the airport.
I have sent some of these, and I always put in a parcel like decoration items or small marble,
marble,
that kind of terms. And never a problem.
But our investigators wanted to know if dealers in the US would openly buy ivory they knew to be illegal. In February 2002, Rick Swain of the HSUS Investigative Services section posed for photographs with ivory which had been confiscated by the Kenyan authorities. His plan was to say that they were trophies from an elephant shot after the 1989 ban.
I think his greed is going to get the better part of him. He's going to see what he wants to see.
Back in the States, he found buyers who were already practiced in getting round the law.
We find a post-ban tusk, we end up buying them if we feel comfortable with the people. We buy them and we say, look, we didn't buy that. We bought that pencil in your pocket and you donated the tusk to us. But that pencil is worth $8,000.
Yeah, okay.
Buyers like this are fueling a continued trade in illegal ivory. And it's the people and the animals of Africa who are suffering as a result.
The impact of buying that beautiful piece of ivory is killing not one elephant, it's killing hundreds of elephants. The guys killing these elephants, they just couldn't give a damn whether it's this big, whether it has a mother, whether it was born yesterday, or whether it or no. This isn't a sustainable takeoff of farmed elephant. This is a complete eradication of a community of elephants.
Ian Craig's family have owned Lewa Downs, a private conservancy in northern Kenya, since the 1920s. Kenya has seen its fair share of poaching over the years, as Lewa's head of security, Richard Moller, showed Rick.
What have we got?
Okay, we basically, just to give you
This is, I mean, there's no describing this. Look at this. I mean, this animal looks like it's alive except for the entire face has been chopped out.
and it's some horrifying sights.
What, I mean, this is, I mean, there the trunk has been separated and the face is just chopped out.
Basically, the whole front of the face is literally just chopped off, and these days they get to the extent of using even a chainsaw to basically cut the whole side of the face away so that they can get the tusks out and get out of there as quickly as possible.
I mean, what you're describing, it sounds more like guerrilla warfare than...
Yeah, it is to an extent. I mean, these guys, it's not one or two guys coming in. It's a substantial group of them. They even come to the extent where they come in with their own porters.
This is a business.
Without a
ugly,
doubt. It's a
violent business.
Yeah.
Lewa Downs has had to develop its own private ranger force who are trained in armed combat.
Assembling, carry on!
It's an extreme measure, but it's the only way of protecting elephants from poachers. And so far, it's successful. At Lewa Downs, it's possible to see elephants living as they should, without fear of humans.
If you can walk on foot with any of Africa's big game, this is safest by far. You can see he's still feeding.
Mm-hmm.
That first little is basically just to say, hey, I know you're there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm telling you I'm here. Leave me the room I need.
Yeah. How much of us being able to get this close is a factor of habituation to humans? Any?
It's when the elephants from outside the surrounding areas first come onto this reserve.
Mm-hmm.
They're really windy. They're jumpy. They're on a short fuse. And so you stay back and you give them 2 or 3 days to settle. And in 2 or 3 days, they know here people are not a bad thing. These elephants that have come onto Lewa from the north or from the south will have had some kind of negative human encounter. They're intelligent enough, peaceful enough, and adjustable enough that they realize they're safe here, and all of a sudden here humanity is a very different thing.
What a difference. Just because human beings aren't a threat here.
Yeah.
But for Ian Craig, there is only one real way to protect the elephants of Kenya.
If I could do one thing, it's to suppress the price of ivory. Nothing else. Just have no value to ivory.
You think that would make a difference?
Oh, I don't think it would make a difference. It would make all the difference. Who's going to kill? Nobody's interested in the meat.
So if there's no market?
If there's no market, there's no killing.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
And as long as people still want to buy ivory, the elephants of Kenya will have a price on their head. And the skulls in the KWS warehouse will continue to mount.
It's not about the pretty carving or the chop or the bracelet. This is what it's really about. It's killing thousands of animals.
When someone wears an ivory, maybe a bracelet or jewelry made from the ivory, I guess he does not see the whole truth, the whole picture. Maybe he should come here and get a whole picture of this and let that be carved in the ivory so that he can see what he's wearing, the consequences of this. Because every time you're wearing that nice ivory, you're also wearing all these things, all these places.
This HSUS investigation has proved that so long as there are people willing to buy ivory, the elephants of Africa will be under threat, and the true price of ivory is way, way too high.